Hi everyone and happy Monday. We have a page here to do from the Johanna Basford weekly planner. This is from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. I thought I would just start by showing you the two previous versions of this page that I have done, just to give you some ideas. So this is the first attempt. I'm pretty sure this is my first copy of Ivy, and I was doing the Dragon Queen always in the same colour, and House Mouse as well. So this one is done pretty much with a sort of grey background on each square, and the candles are white. I wonder if I forgot to colour them. So there is that version, and then I've done a second copy of Ivy. Oops. And this one was I'm pretty sure it was a video series. Yet again, the background of each one is done in grey. I think it's to look like the cave sort of thing. I'm pretty sure this was done as a set of videos. Can't remember though. So there is that version, and now we have this version to do. So let's come in a tad closer so we can have a good look at the page. Now, of course, in the book we have text here, and this is just missing here, so that's something for us to have a little think about. Oh, my microphone is falling off my t-shirt. Oh, there we go. I've got a really thin t-shirt on today. It's not very good for holding the microphone, but anyway, I'm going to be using my Derwent Chromaflow pencils. I wanted something that I could get to a nice fine point. We've got a lot of little details here. Now, it was suggested to me by my son that I do this in grayscale. It was suggested to me by my sister that I do it as if it was an embossed photo frame, with this being the bit for the photo and this being the frame. I considered both. Firstly, the photo frame idea, I wasn't sure how I would cope with these single stems, and there's so much detail. We've got single stems here. I just wasn't sure it would work. I would like to do you a picture to show you how to do that, but not with this one. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to choose a colour for my background, and like the others where I did for the others I did brick in the background for all of them, and I'm thinking this bit here could be, but I'm not sure whether these bits need to be. I don't know why I've got an anchor and a feather and a lot. I can't remember the story, part of the story, but House Mouse is surrounded by flowers. I'm sure she's not meant to be in the dark cave. So maybe we'll do this bit cave-like and this bit a bit different, perhaps. I don't know, my thoughts may change. But what I'm going to do is grab the, what colour should we do? I'm going to grab the pebble colour, if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So this is the pebble. I'm going to come in a tad closer, but not a lot, and do the background of this, this and this, okay? And then we'll move from there. So in here really, and I'm just going to keep it really simple so that it's dark enough for you to see, but not too dark, just, as I say, a background. I just realised my lamp isn't on. I'm going to put it on, it'll blind you. There we go, or as I'm going to struggle to see. Right. Yeah, it's quite bright in here today because I haven't shut the door, because it's only me and my son here, and he's upstairs in his room doing some editing for his YouTube channel. So I thought I wouldn't shut the door. It gets a bit stuffy and there's just no need. So that's good. He came with me for a little walk this morning. He likes to get out a few times a week and stretch his legs. Good on him. And now here you see, because we have a little lamp, it might be lighter around here. But what I'm going to do is continue with this bit the same all through. And then I might decide that I'll go darker sort of around here, so this bit looks brighter, if that makes sense. But I might not. I might just leave it. I've got so much to do on this page, so many little bits and bobs, that maybe it'll get too much. We'll see. So anyway, we went for a walk first thing, as soon as my husband left for work, basically. and we only went down the canal path to the supermarket. But first of all, we're just walking and chatting, and there was a person standing taking a photo on their phone. And I had a look and I could see the kingfisher. Now that wasn't what she was taking a photo of, I realised, because the angle that she was standing, she wouldn't have seen it. But my son was like, how did you see that? And I said, well, the glint, because their wings are, I guess the word might be iridescent, I don't know. When the sun catches them, they shine, and it caught my eye. And so we watched it flit about a little bit and then flew off out of sight. And then we realised that the woman was taking a photograph of a heron, which was just sitting very still on the lower canal path. We don't walk down there, it's too close to the water. So that was fun. And then as we went up towards the sort of meadowy area, it sounds a lot nicer than it is, but it's just a bit that's left to grow wild. And every so often it's just cut gently with a scythe, and it's got sort of wildflowers and things. Oh, my phone's ringing. Right, I don't know who that was on the phone. It was a private number and it disappeared before I got there. Probably spam. I'd already had a call this morning that I couldn't get to in time, and I assume it was spam. Ugh. Anyways, as we walked to this bit, there were a group of 3 goldfinches. They were on the thistles. They love little tiny seeds, goldfinches, and they usually see them more in flocks on that little meadow. It's not big, eating the teasel seeds, but it's too early for teasels, so they were there. I guess the thistles are in seed. They were flowering, so I wasn't really sure, but anyway, they were sitting on the thistles, swaying in the wind. It was lovely. So and on our way back, after grabbing some groceries, we saw the heron again. It was still there. My son was like, I won't still be there. I was like, I might. But he doesn't go along there as often as me. I know sometimes they do hang around for quite a long time. They just sit there waiting for a fish. But where it was, the fish are usually quite big. So I thought, is it going to be able to eat something that big? But I don't know. But anyway, I guess he would try. But that was so that was our walk. It was lovely. It's quite warm. It's sunny this morning. It wasn't actually that warm. It was lovely and cool. My son wore a hoodie. I didn't. I was in my short sleeves. I was enjoying the cool. Put my hat on. But I'm going to just go across and down to sort of here, I think. And yeah, I was enjoying the cool. It was cool enough so that when we came home, it's actually warmer in the house than outside, which is quite rare for here in the summer. So it's nice, but it's supposed to be, I think, only getting to 23. Now, when it's winter time, I say 18 is hot enough for me and I can't bear being above. But as we have had some 30-degree days already, 23 does feel bearable. Let's say, not pleasant, but if I go out early, I'm going to sharpen my pencil a bit because we've got lots of little tiny gaps between these stones. I can hear a really loud aeroplane, helicopter, not sure, something. So yeah, so it felt reasonable. And I find that today's a Tuesday, so my husband and one of my sons are out of work, and I find that when it's just me and my one son here, it stays cooler because there's less computers on, there's less bodies in the house. I can be in charge of controlling the temperature with regards to what curtains are open and closed, what windows are open, that sort of thing, and it just remains much more pleasant. We'll go up to there somehow, whereas when everyone's here, it seems hotter, but I don't know if it just is hotter when they're here, because this week the temperatures are going to get hotter the weekend, which seems to be the norm at the moment. It's hotter at the weekends than weekdays, which is really good for my son because his office isn't air conditioned, so and when it gets too hot he finds it really hard to think. And so it's better if it's hotter when he's here in a way. But also I can remind him to have a drink. My goodness, they're terrors. And so yes, it's apparently going to be 31 at the weekend. I just remembered that me and my son completely forgot to buy something when we were out. He was supposed to be choosing a birthday card for his dad. Completely forgot, wasn't on the shopping list. We both forgot. Oh dear. I will. I'm actually thinking I might just go and message him, and so that we can maybe do it tomorrow, because that was a bit of a disaster. Hold on a minute. I will do that. Right, that's a little message sent to my son. He was not too happy. We may have a few cards here though that he might be able to use. I'm wondering whether to use one of the ones, the Johanna Basford ones that I bought from V&A Dundee for him, but I'd have to colour it, of course, can't. But we'll see. It's quite slow work, this page, I think. I can't really think of a way to speed it up or make it easy. I mean, you could do it grayscale or one colour, but I think it isn't the type of page that to me feels like it wants to be just one colour. I don't know if that makes any sense. I was just writing a blog article this morning for my Ko-fi page. There's a way of share blog articles. I think it's quite fun because so many people ask me how I managed to colour so many pages so quickly. You know, how do I do so many in a month? I thought I'd write a little article explaining, so I've done that. So if you haven't ever looked at my Ko-fi, that is something. There are a few other articles as well. I'm just going to sharpen up that might be of interest to you, freebies and things like that, all sorts of stuff over there. So it's worth having a look. The link is in my video description, and you can pop over, and I'm not going to go down there, I'm just going to go in between these. Right, my next job I want to do is to do these bricks and the ones around the door. I'm going to do them in the same colour. Now in the Chromaflow we have quite a big range of greys, loads really. Some are browner, some are pink, some are bluish, and it's odd how some of them are called. This one's called Carolina Blue, and it's so similar to these others. And that I think I'm going to use the lavender ash. Is that it there? Yeah. So here it is, lavender ash. It might be tricky to see. I'll give it a sharpen and do these bricks darker. Sometimes I prefer to do them a little bit lighter than the background, sometimes darker. What I'll do actually is we'll do the ones around the door first. So we'll come in close to the door, there we are. And I'm going to keep it really simple. Go around the edge like that, and then just sort of fade it a bit towards the middle. Make it look like it's a little bit textured by just making it uneven colour wise. You could do something more fancy or keep them plain. It's completely up to you. This just works for me. I think they look reasonably stone-like. You could change the colour up as well, do lots of different colours. I do have a video on how to colour, what do I call them? How to colour stone bricks. That's right, it's a really old video. And it shows you how to do it with different shades of grey and things. I think I use Derwent pencils in that video actually. But not these. The ones I barely use in videos. What are they called? Derwent. yeah, the one light fast, and that's it. I find that some of my light fasts are getting really short, and the colour range is quite limited because of the fact that they need to be light fast, and certain colours like pink aren't light fast, so they can't use them. So the range is, yeah, and being light fast is not something that is important for colouring book colouring. If you're going to leave the pages in the book, it doesn't really matter because they're protected from the light so much. If you're going to frame your pictures, then light fast might be more relevant. And interestingly, Sarah Rennie Clark did a very interesting video actually on light fast pencils. She tested loads and loads of different brands to see how light fast they were. Moving over to do the bricks over here. And what she discovered was that a lot of brands that said they were light fast didn't even last in the sun for a few hours. And it changed from brand to brand. And the ones that claim the sort of Caran d'Ache Luminance and the Derwent light fast they were light fast. You can trust the big brands and the big prices. But a lot of the cheaper brands that claim they're light fast aren't. But, you know, it does depend on what you're using it for. And certain colours were much less light fast than, oh, sorry, we're going all over the shop. There we go. It was quite an interesting video, actually. I do find her video, she's very, very well researched. You know, she did these tests. She put things in the window in the sun, and she's in Australia. They get a good bit of sun to really test them and things like that. And basically, she swatched everything twice, and she put one set in a drawer and one set on the window, and then, you know, compared them. It's quite interesting to realise how some companies claim they're light fast and they're not. I found that quite, you know, how did they get away with it? And what other claims are they making that they aren't, you know, that aren't correct? So that wasn't good. But she said it depends how you define light fast. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking maybe that bit there isn't a stone. Maybe, so I think I'm going to go back to my pebble for this one here. I just feel like it's not. I mean, because there's no sort of little gap. But it's all down to interpretation, isn't it? So there we go. Right, let's go back to the lavender ash and carry on. Now, of course, if you aren't keen on this colour, it is a bit of an odd colour, I have to say. You can pick a different one. I'm using brownish greys rather than cold greys. I don't really know why. I just feel like it's better. I tend to use the warm greys, French greys, those sorts of greys for bricks, and cold greys for silver, metallic-y things. You know, it's just the way I do it, and there's no reason why you couldn't use cold grey or even a more browny tone, you know, or even like a limestone brick or a red, what would be red, like with iron oxide in, something like that. You know, there's no right or wrong. There never is with art and colouring. It's interesting, my husband was saying, I haven't got a style to my art and it makes me frustrated. And I said, nor have I. And he said, yes, you have. And I said, have I? I don't really think I have. I just pootle along, really. So it's... Right, I think that's the last little bit. I don't consider myself to have a style. But anyway, it was an interesting conversation, but he's sort of lost all enthusiasm for art at the moment. He's frustrated because he's not as good as he wants to be. But anyway, he's been fiddling around with the server we have in our house. Basically, I don't even know what it does, but you know, I'm not interested in these computery things. It helps us all connect to, provides a network so we can all connect to the printer, I think, but I don't know. But anyway, he wanted to buy a new one. It was very expensive, and then he realised it didn't do what he wanted, so he got a bit upset and annoyed and trying to work out how he can achieve what he wants without being able to buy one. And oh dear, he did change our broadband. Well, it will change soon. What's the date? This is 21st, so it would have changed by the time this goes out. So on the 18th it's changing over. We are going to fibre broadband. Now it's supposed to be a lot quicker for the download speed, which is when you're putting something onto your machine. So you might be loading some music off the internet or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Don't do that. None of us do that. I think watching videos, that sort of thing. That's going to be about 3.5 times faster, maybe. Something like that. Or I can't remember. And then the upload speed, which is the thing that gets us, you know, uploading to YouTube. That's going to be, I think, 4.5 times faster. That will make a difference, because at the moment, if I'm uploading a video, it slows down other things. So if someone's playing a game, it slows down the game and things like that. So he was like, you know, we need to improve this. And I was like, we manage. I just message people and go, can I upload? Now they realise, the kids, that their games are not as important as me uploading things, but they might say, can you just give me a few minutes, because I want to give them the opportunity to save what they're doing or just finish off. You know, this is a mocha. I'm going to use the mocha for the outline. If you look carefully at the picture, if we can see it, there we go. All around the edge here is a tree, like a twig or a branch. So I'm going to use the mocha to just colour this. So yes, I'll say to them, can I upload? And they'll just say, give me a sec, or yes, or whatever. And when my son is streaming, I can't upload, because he can't, because he live streams. He's playing a game. So he has to upload the game and his speech. I've just gone out of the lines. You don't need to do that. And it has to be processed through a piece of software before it uploads or something, and it takes a lot of oomph. So I can't upload while he's streaming, but he only streams for 4 hours a week. But husband reckons I will be able to when we have this faster thing. I don't know. I'm not convinced. Me and him will have to have a little experiment and see whether we can do everything he claims. But it's going to cost £20 a month extra. But he's been umming and ahhing about it, and I just said, oh, these bits, these need the grey, don't they? Oh, let's just do that, or else I'm going to forget. So our pebble is being here. So he's paid for that. So I'm like, ooh, you know, where can I cut back? Where can I earn more? Oh, shopping bills are going up too. I think everyone is in the same position though. It's tricky. But the boys are getting closer to earning more and paying their way a little bit more. I mean, I've just ordered my son a load of new t-shirts, you know, whereas I think, well, in a few years' time, I'll be making him do that, pay for that himself, because although he's working and his brother isn't, I had said to them, while you're at uni, we'll pay for everything. And he is working, but his uni placement year, so it feels a little bit unfair to sort of, and his brother's getting things paid for. So I've just sort of said to them, until you're both finished at uni, we'll keep paying for stuff. We'll see. But my son his boss said he can continue just doing 3 days a week if that suits him better, and he was quite relieved. He finds it quite difficult anyway, and so he wants to stay at 3 days a week. I know he needs to get used to doing 5, but on the other hand, he needs to be able to cope as well. So I'm hoping that he'll find a coping mechanism and he'll be able to sort it out, but maybe he won't. It's really difficult to know how to help him, really. But anyway, we'll see how he gets on this week. Last week he got on well, but his boss was on holiday and he was on his phone quite a bit during the day to give himself a bit of a break. When she's there, he doesn't feel like he can do that, which I think is fair enough. I would feel the same. I've never, when I was working in offices, phones didn't exist, so I've never had the issue of, can you use a phone? When do you use a phone? What's the etiquette? And my husband's office just bans them. So, you're not allowed them. That's the end of it. So, but people do watch videos on their laptops and things like that during the day. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? I don't know what the modern etiquette is. And if I was a boss, I would be really annoyed if people were using their phones during the day. But a lot of people go off and have a coffee break or a smoke, a vape or whatever. And so if people needed a 5-minute break every sort of hour or two to just breathe, and then maybe that's okay. I've never done a sort of job where I was finding it really stressful, and I often had little gaps where I would yap to people. You can't imagine me talking to people, can you? I can do this little platform art. Dragon is standing on as well. So yes, I would have a natter or just read a few emails, and it would be a break from... Oh, my phone's ringing again. Right, another spam call now. I'm just going to finish today's session. My phone's ringing again. Right, I'm going to finish this page doing the leaves. So we've got leaves here and here and here and around here. They're really small, so I'm not going to worry too much about doing any detail in them. I'm just going to colour them in. Just looking for the colour that I want. Here it is. I'm going to use the Tropical Rain. It's quite a dark green, and I think that will work nicely because this is sort of a frame. Then I think it'll work really well. And I'm just going to try and do all of them before my phone rings again. Actually, I was going to say, because I'll probably forget some or miss some out, you know what I'm like. But it won't be intentional if I do. The ones on the door here, I'm going to ignore. I'm going to do that with the door. I might do them a different colour. Because they're part of the door. I feel like they're different somehow. The same with these leaves in this box. And you can't really see either. But I am just blocking in the colour. Yeah, that call was because I accidentally rang back one of the numbers when I was trying to block it. And I'm so good with my phone. And she rang me back and said, I got a missed call from this number. I was like, did you? And then she hung up. But she had an Irish accent, which was interesting. But sometimes I try and look up the numbers, but they don't always come up as anything or anyone. I did have a bit of a scam letter yesterday. Well, the letter was genuine. It was from an insurance company, and it said I'd asked for a quote. The email address I'd given wasn't right, and you know, and I phoned them up and I said I haven't asked for a quote, and they said, oh. And what happens apparently is other people ask for quotes for your insurance, and she said there's all sorts of weird email addresses on your account. I don't even have an account, I don't have insurance with them, but they just looked up my details and they put a big note on it saying that, you know, it wasn't me. Because I think what happens is people try to take out insurance on your property and then make a claim, get some money. It's naughty, isn't it? And then next time I try and get insurance, there'll be that claim against my property, which will make my insurance even more expensive. So I hope that they don't succeed. But she said they might have gone out. She said I might get more letters from partner companies of theirs, because it was done using a sort of comparison website. So loads of companies contacted or something. That's another new one to be looking out for. I was looking up insurance scams. Apparently there are other ones where people claim to be a broker and sell you insurance, and then they're not, and they don't give you any insurance, so you just pay out money. It's just horrible. You know, I know it's hard to find work. I know things are expensive, but there are honest ways to earn a living. Surely most people can. I think there are some people who feel like other people are rich and therefore they deserve to be scammed. That's what my brain goes to. And I can understand that way of thinking. I was, you know, although I was saying earlier, oh, £20 a month more, blah, we are rich compared to a lot of people in the world. If we compare our wealth to the world as a whole, you know, we have lots of things and money, stuff. We have a house. We own a house. I mean, how fortunate is that? You know, and we can afford to pay our bills, and we can afford nice food. It's just the luxuries that I'm always a bit more careful about, because well, this little bit of branch I'm going to do in that brown colour. We use the mocha, remember? You know, I'm very careful with what we're spending, because, you know, we're not really heading towards retirement quite yet, but I want to be prepared. Right, back to the green leaves up here. And you never know what's going to happen. I like to have a little bit of security behind us. And my husband says he's never going to give up work, but I find that hard to believe, to be honest. He'll need a purpose. He'll need something to do. If he's not got a purpose, he gets really miserable. So, but it doesn't mean it has to be work, you know. Now, I think I am going to leave that for today. I think I've whittled on a lot and coloured a lot, but I've got no idea how long for, because of the phone ringing all the time. But I'm going to leave that there, and we can do some of the details and the backgrounds on these bottom ones. I shall have a think about what to do with those. But for now, enjoy the rest of your Monday, if it is Monday. Have a super day anyway, and happy colouring.